to listen to the Lapped Traffic Podcast.
What is up, Lap Traffic Nation? Welcome to episode 272 of the Lap Traffic Podcast. I'm your host, the Professor Brandon Crowd. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Race 4 is in the books with 4 different winners. I love that. Oh, I hope we get to say that for many weeks into the future here. It's just so cool. It's refreshing. It's great. But man, there's some things to talk about, and I am excited to get into all of that, which I will. But first, a little recap. Took a week off last week just because things busy when you got a baby. Can't believe Alden is going to be a month old tomorrow. It's crazy. Can't believe how much bigger he is, and to watch this little guy just develop his own little personality already is just so awesome. Friday night, hung out with some friends from the old neighborhood. They came over to see him. And Saturday, Yonkers came over to meet the little guy. And Sunday, didn't really get off the couch, which was fantastic. Some much needed rest for both Lindsay and myself and all that good stuff. Few things happened since the last show, though. Hey, baseball is back. Lockout, all that stuff. I can't wait. Chill on the patio, something on a Traeger, baseball, Detroit Tigers on the radio, and the little guy hanging out outside with us. And speaking of the little guy, Sherwin has nicknamed him the General, which I absolutely love. I tweeted out a picture of him in a Grunt Style bib. That picture blew up a little bit, which was awesome. Grunt Style saw it. They messaged me, said how much they loved it. So I think Alden needs to be the official baby of Grunt Style. I'm just saying. We'll see what we can do there. I think that'd be freaking awesome. He loves Grunt Style. I love Grunt Style. Let's make it happen. And hey, Tom Brady is back. I wish he was coming back to finish out his career in Michigan with the Detroit Lions, but I know that's obviously a far-fetched dream. And here I am. I'll wake up from that. But yeah, Tom Brady, after 2 months, gas prices are so high that even Tom Brady's got to go back to work and play some more football. So I love it. I can't wait. I'm sure there's something behind that. I wonder if we'll ever know the truth, but I'm excited because now I got a keeper pick in one of my fantasy leagues, and I'm pumped. All right, let's see. Been a couple weeks, but a couple weeks ago, 271, Dustin Albino was on the show. Like I said, did not do my own show last week, but I was on the Blowing the Doors Off podcast with Brett and Sherwin, and had a great time there. So I hope you guys check that out. Brett has his own hunting podcast, which has done really well. Sherwin obviously had the PETM podcast, and those two decided to put their talents together, and you have the Blowing the Doors Off podcast, and had a lot of fun. We talked smoking meat, we talked NASCAR, we talked betting, all the good stuff. Go check that out for sure. And let's see, here we are tonight, 272. Got Grant Enfinger from the Truck Series, which is awesome. He's back on the show. And Christian Rose in the ARCA series is going to be making his LTP debut. And let's see, we got some recaps from the races this weekend at Phoenix, social media shout outs, picked up a lot of followers. We are so close to 6,000 followers. Get to that here in a little bit. Neudorff will be on for some weather, Lucky Dog lap down, and fantasy to close it out. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line, making his 7th appearance on the show. He is the driver of the number 23 Chevy with GMS. Welcome back to the show, Grant Enfinger. Grant, how are you, brother?
I'm doing good, Brandon. Appreciate you having me back.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for coming back on 7 times. That's awesome, man. You know how much I appreciate the support from you, and it's been fun to have you on over the years, man.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
So, all right, before we get into truck racing, you and I have a similar story here in that Georgia beat Alabama and Georgia beat Michigan. Have you gotten over that loss yet? Because it still stings for me.
This one didn't sting as bad as some of the other losses in the past because I kind of seen it coming. So this was one of those years that, I think every 100 years Georgia ends up with a good team, and this was their year. So we're going to give them that, and we're going to roll on to the next one.
I love it, man. I love it. All right, let's talk about the new ride. Last year you and I talked. I know your fans, myself, and more importantly, you were bummed to only have a part-time ride. Picked up a second part-time ride with CR7, but a team change now over at GMS. Talk about how that all came to play.
Yeah, really. This time last year, whenever I was kind of, put back to part time there, started going to work on figuring out, hey, how do we prevent this from happening again? How do we make sure we're in championship equipment each and every year? And able to put that together for a couple of years at GMS Racing, and hopefully longer than that. GMS is a place that I have history with. Been here before. For I guess 2.5, 3 years in 14, 15, and 16. So I've maintained a good relationship with all those guys, Maury Gallagher and Mike Beam and all the guys there at GMS Racing. So very, very fortunate to be able to put the deal together with them and my friends at Champion Power Equipment. We're obviously a big part of making this all happen. They're going to be on the truck for, I believe, 21 of the 23 races. So they've upped their commitment. We've got a ton of support with Chevrolet behind us this year. Everything is put in place to have a championship team here with our 23 group. We just haven't got the results to show it yet with 2 races in, not only 2 wrecks, 2 destroyed Chevy Silverados. I mean, we have destroyed both of these at Daytona and Las Vegas. So that's unfortunate. But really overall, the strength of the team and the communication and the transition has been great. So I feel like we'll get it turned around here pretty quick.
That's awesome. So how do you not get frustrated just knowing like what, Daytona is Daytona, and we all know the crapshoot that can be, just wrong place, wrong time kind of thing. How do you not let that frustration set in there?
Who said I wasn't frustrated?
Right? Well, how do you avoid the mental game of that getting into your head?
That's just one of those things in racing and my career of racing. It's always been quite the roller coaster with plenty of ups and plenty of downs. So you just got to do your best to put that behind you and know that, heck, we're going to go to Atlanta. And really, I haven't seen anything on the schedule that I don't feel like we're truly capable of winning at. If we show up with our best and we have a good day, we can win at any of these tracks. So, that's what I'm focused on. That's what Charles DeNike, our crew chief, is focused on. So, I think I'm probably a little bit more down than the guys are. Just the word you use is frustrated, and I am a little bit. But overall, we'll put that behind us and be ready for Atlanta. And, man, speaking of Atlanta, that's one of those places I truly don't know what to expect there. We were fortunate enough to be able to do the tire test there, but with the new configuration and new package, we're running downforce trucks with Speedway motors, so it's going to be a tight grouping throughout the field. It's definitely going to be wild. So we're definitely concentrating really hard on trying to make our best guesses for how that race is going to play out and prepare the truck that way.
Absolutely. You picked up the win back in 2020 there. It's going to be crazy to see, like you said, the package that the trucks are bringing there with the reconfiguration. I think it's going to be wild. It very well could be Daytona-esque there, possibly. So that'll be definitely a fun one to watch. With the new team, I know you had a relationship with a lot of those guys, but talk about getting adjusted, new crew chief, new pit guys, spotter, all that kind of stuff. How long does it take for those, bugs and kinks to get worked out once you're at the track to, get that communication, especially with your spotter, to know that momentum, I guess, if you will, in terms of,
Yeah. Yeah, Brandon, there's always a transition period with working with new guys and different communication, different lingo. Even like you mentioned the spotter. My spotter this year is Mike Herman, who's one of the best spotters on the roof on Sundays. And I've known Herm for man, 10, probably closer to 15 years now. And we've always been buddies and stuff like this. But now that he's fighting for me, some of the stuff, some of the lingo comes across differently than I'm used to and stuff like that. So there's always a transition period. The fact that we've communicated and talked together, even if it hadn't really been behind the car, is always a good thing. So hopefully that transition period is short, but it's different, and so it takes time to get adjusted to that. And you would like to think everybody's there, but not everybody's looking is the same, as far as the spotter is called and stuff like that. And knowing, how aggressive that he is means how aggressive that I can, transfer that. So, but I think overall that stuff is going smoothly, but it is a transition. And also our crew chief, Charles Denike, he's an engineer. I've never worked with an engineer as a crew chief before, so looking forward to that. We've had a lot of really, really good talks over the last few months. He's definitely more of a data-driven guy than probably I am, or some of the other guys I've worked with in the past. But he's definitely open-minded to an old school racer's point of view, or hey, sometimes we don't exactly have an answer for this, but this has just historically been better, and he'll listen to stuff like that. So I'm really, looking forward to the rest of this year. And once we get all our ducks in a row, which honestly, like Vegas, we weren't great, we weren't bad, but we weren't great. We're in line to finish 5th or 6th there, and just kind of got a mistake, made by somebody else and kind of ended our day. But you'll have that. Hopefully we can get that done in the first 2 races of the year, and we don't have to worry about any more bad luck for the other 21 races.
Absolutely. Kind of stepping into the senior veteran role at GMS now. That they went down just to 2, and you got a young teammate in Jack Wood. Talk about playing that mentor role and how it's been with working with him.
Yeah, that's definitely been different from what I've been in the past. But this is my 6th full season in the Truck Series, so I'm able to kind of have that veteran leadership role that I haven't had before. So yeah, definitely some different responsibilities. I feel like sometimes my voice is maybe heard and can kind of it sways some things one way or the other if the organization is on the fence about a direction. So never really been in that position before, and definitely looking forward to that role. And yeah, Jack's a really, really nice kid from out west. So we've had some talks and stuff like that. And his year hadn't got started off the way he's wanted it to. So hopefully we can get both of these trucks turned around here at Atlanta.
For sure, man. You mentioned a little bit ago about your sponsor, Champion Power Equipment, coming back with you, making the move over, up their game. What kind of stress does that take off you as a driver? When it's almost a full season sponsorship done up front, does that relieve stress throughout the season to just be able to go out there, or only having so many obligations for, just one sponsor versus, a handful that may be primary sponsors?
It's definitely a relief. It's something that every driver wants, I think it's probably a relief to my wife more than me, just a little less stress when you come back from the shop, knowing you're going racing the next week. And can't say enough about Dennis Trine and Marty Richards and Todd Wellsbacher that have kind of stuck behind me for 7 or 8 years now. So they definitely believed in me and my career, as well as what racing does for Champion Power Equipment. So that's been something that's been pretty cool and pretty fortunate. We've been able to grow together, and we're able to actually spend a lot of time with those guys out on the West Coast. Last week before Vegas, we were able to go to the warehouse and also their headquarters out in Santa Fe Springs, California. So yeah, those guys have been incredible to me. And yeah, Brandon, it's definitely a relief to know, hey, those guys are behind me, and man, those guys are performance driven too. Like they want to win races, and that's why they were so on board for doing this deal this year.
That's great, man. We've talked about Atlanta. I want to get your thoughts, though. The race after Atlanta, the Truck Series, is headed to Dakota. It was really exciting last year with the Cup Series there. I love trucks on short tracks and road courses. But what's Grant's take on going to Dakota in the Truck Series?
Road courses are something that I've always more or less struggled at. It's just something that hasn't come natural to me. Didn't do it growing up or anything like that. And been fortunate to have the opportunity to do, a road course or two a year for the last, 7 or 8 years. And man, the last couple of years, I've put a lot of focus on it and worked really, really hard to kind of hone my craft. And in COTA, I was actually able to show that last year with good results and good practice and good speed the whole time. And rain or shine, we were pretty decent and came home in fourth last year. So hopefully we can be a contender for the win this year. GMS has a really good road course program. Like I said, I've been working really, really hard on my end. I would say I have no natural ability on the road courses, but I have worked really hard to become better there. So man, I'm really looking forward to COTA, and that's one of those places. It's pretty intimidating, but before you go there, and I talk like I'm experienced. I've only been there one time, but definitely enjoy it. And 20 turns, and there is a little bit of everything. There's elevation change. There's a few really, really high speed corners. There's 3 or 4 first gear like crawling corners. There's a little segment that, man, we couldn't be going 30 or 40 miles an hour through. And then there's a back straightaway that man, we're probably pushing 180 or so down that backstretch. So there is something there is a little bit of every track is put in Dakota, and it's a pretty cool place. So definitely looking forward to getting there in a few weeks.
That's awesome, man. Listen, give a shout out to the sponsors and all that, and tell everyone where they can follow you on social media.
Yeah, definitely the big guys to thank this year are Champion Power Equipment, Allegiant Airlines, all our guys at GMS Racing, and Chevrolet. And Chevy has put so much emphasis behind this 23 truck this year, and can't say thank you enough for that. But yeah, really, really easy to follow. It's just at Grant Enfinger on Twitter and Facebook, and I do my best to keep everybody updated on what's going on.
I love it, man. Awesome. Listen, huge thanks to you, man, for coming on. It's always a pleasure to catch up with you. Best of luck this year, and look forward to getting you on another time or two down the road.
All right. Thank you, Brandon.
Appreciate you, man. We'll talk to you soon. Good luck at Atlanta.
Okay.
We'll see ya. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, Grant Enfinger. Love talking to that guy. He's been on quite a few times over the seasons, which is just awesome. Love watching his career. Great guy. All that good stuff. All right, let's talk a little Xfinity racing from Phoenix here. Couple things stood out to me. One, man, Noah Gragson obviously putting on a clinic. Almost captured the trifecta with stage 1 and 2 wins and the race win. Finished second there in stage 1. But man, just a dominant performance from that 9 car. And those are the things that we've gotten to see from him over the years, where he will just be lights out perfection, or we might see him in the wall sometimes, but he seems to have that kind of figured out, as he is our points leader by almost 40 points. I know it's early, 4 races in, but just going out there and just kicking ass and taking names right now. Brandon Jones in second, someone else who's kind of, we weren't sure what we were going to get from him, but I mean, for me, the talk is Trevor Bayne. I mean, here's a guy that hasn't raced in a few years and goes out there and is just taking it by storm. Led stage 1, finished 4th in stage 2, finished 4th in the race. I mean, this guy's just, it's like he hasn't missed a beat, and that is just, it's incredible to see. And I love everything I love the story. It's the Cinderella story again for him. Like, who would have thought you could have 2 Cinderella stories, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And someone else that really impressed with, and that's Landon Castle. I mean, you guys know how much I love Kaulig Racing, and wasn't sure, what were we going to see out of Landon Castle this year? And, Daytona's Daytona. I've said that 100 times. You really can't hold anything to that just because you can get caught up wrong time. But, top 10 finish here. I think it's going to be interesting to see what he's able to do. I think he's 13th or 14th in points, few out of 12. Again, I understand it's early to be talking, playoff situations, if you will, and points from that regard. But, impressed very much so far by what we've seen out of Landon Castle this year. Very excited to see what we get this weekend. Doubleheader on Saturday, Trucks and Xfinity. I'm looking forward to that. All right. The Cup Series. Here's where it's interesting, right? Because I actually talked about this on Blowing the Doors Off with Brett and Sherwin is, I wouldn't be surprised. I literally said this. Wouldn't be surprised if SHR's first win is not by Kevin Harvick. And sure enough, now granted, great day for Kevin Harvick. He was up there, finished third in stage 2. Late restart, was starting second, just didn't have the momentum, to take the lead on this thing. And we all know how much Kevin Harvick used to love Phoenix. I'm not sure if he still loves Phoenix, but hey, he set a record, most consecutive top 10s or something like that with 17. So maybe he does still love Atlanta now that I say that. But, 2 top 10s for SHR, and then Eric Almirola in 12th. So, I mean, they're there maybe, but picked up the win, and it wasn't Kevin Harvick. I wonder what that odds, the odds on that were. I don't think the betting sites get into that kind of detail there, but I wonder what the odds would have been on Chase Briscoe as the first winner of the season for SHR. And, Ross Chastain, I mean, just unbelievable. We're not far off from talking about 2 Ross Chastain victories. I think he's finished second twice and almost been able to get it done. Each race he needed, I think, another restart to maybe be able to have a shot at it. But, I mean, that's just an impressive run. Tyler Reddick rebounded to a third-place finish. Like that, here's your top 5. Chase Briscoe, Ross Chastain, Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney, Kurt Busch. It's not Kurt Busch of SHR. No. There's no Kyle Busch in the top 5. There's no Kyle Larson in the top 5. There's no Alex Bowman in the top 5. There's no Joey Logano in the top 5. That's a crazy top 5 when you think about it. No Kurt Busch, the only Toyota. I mean, that's something to think about there as we continue on early in 2022 to see if those names are still names we're talking about. Daniel Suarez, I get he had a little bit of an issue there on the track, but he another top 10. Chris Busch, I mean, hey, either there is the parity that the new car said we were going to get, or is it just that the teams haven't figured it out yet and are still working on that? That's the $1 million question right there. I hope it's the first, but we shall see. And very excited. It's Atlanta. What are we going to get? New track, new reconfiguration. Man, I'm curious. I think it's going to look a little bit Daytona-esque. We'll see. We'll see on Sunday. I can't wait. Cannot wait. All right, let's do a little Lab Traffic social media. Everybody, make sure you check out the website, thelabtrafficpodcast.com, Facebook, The Lab Traffic Podcast, YouTube, Lab Traffic Podcast, TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Lab Traffic PC. If you've made it this far into the show, go leave a review wherever you're listening. Go tell your friends to check out the show, The Lab Traffic Podcast. And hey, you guys were incredible this weekend with all of the retweets and all that. Picked up a good chunk of followers, less than 200, about 190 to be exact, to go until we hit 6,000 followers on Twitter. And we'll give away that sheet metal and Chase Elliott race win diecast from Phoenix. I'm very excited about that. So, and speaking of some new followers, here are some shout outs. Squad Dad at the Squad Dad, NASCAR fan, Xbox guy, William Nigel or Nagel. not sure. At William Nigel or Nigel 48, Joe Gibbs fan from Sandusky, Ohio, home of the greatest amusement park in the world, in my opinion, Cedar Point. Let's see here. Thank you for riding the Magnum here at Cedar Point, America's roller coast. William, how'd I do? Did I nail it? You tell me. Brittany Pickering at B Pickering 28, NASCAR and football fan. Trey Seshi at Trey Seshi, NASCAR fan from Arizona. Birdies and Burnouts at Birdies and Burnouts, NASCAR fan and golf account. Some of my favorite things. Cannot wait to hit the golf course here, hopefully in a couple weeks if the weather pans out in Metro Detroit. Darren Kent at Boats 498, a Harvick and Briscoe fan. Hell yeah. Colby Evans at Start and Park Car editor for the ARCA Racing Report. That's awesome. Welcome to the show. And B Love at Brandon_Love 200, teacher, real estate agent, and on-air talent for 98 KUP, Arizona's home for real rock. How'd I do there? Man, look at that. I was put on the spot twice by myself. I love it. Brandon, we have so much in common. We share the same name. I taught at a university for a few years. You're a real estate agent. I've been in the mortgage industry for 20 years. You're on the radio. I'm on a podcast. So I love everything about it. Don't forget, stickers, koozies. If you want some, go check out the website, thelabtrafficpodcast.com, and I will send you out some for free. Just fill that out. I'll get them out to you. All right, let's keep things rolling. Let's get Brian Neudorff on for some weather, and we're obviously going to talk some Big Ten college basketball. All right, Lab Traffic Nation, joining me back on the line. It's been a minute, and that's because I took last week off, but welcome back to the show, Mr. Brian Neudorff. Sir, how are you, man?
I am good. It does feel like it's been a minute. It does. So we've been racing, right? We've been. I'm sorry. We are so in the thick of college basketball. This is,
Yes. No, we are racing. 4 races, 4 different winners. But I mean, I teased it on the intro here before I brought you on that we were talking college basketball. So I mean, let's start there. Dude, 3 seed playing Yale. Tough game against Iowa in the Big Ten championship game. Tell me where you're at as far as Purdue, the tournament, and the big dance that's going to kick off here in a couple days.
Boilermakers are such self-defeatists. I will tell you that. Hey, look, I hear somebody making their podcast appearance during the segment here. So.
Oh, you heard the baby in the background?
Yes, I heard the baby in the background.
Yes, he's chiming in.
Trust me, he must be a future Boilermaker. As soon as I said something, he cried.
I love it.
No, okay, so I mean, I will tell you, this season the talent is there. There is absolutely no doubt that the talent for the Boilermakers is there, and throughout the Big Ten season and the regular season. There were benchmarks for this team, and the team set them themselves. It was to win championships, the Big Ten outright, the Big Ten championship. And throughout the season, they had those opportunities, even after that horrible loss to Michigan. We were still in the thick of things. I mean, when we needed stuff to happen, it happened, except for during the games. I mean, I honestly... when IU lost to a banked 3-pointer, Purdue fans were like, see? How do you like that?
Right. Yep.
I mean, and it all started when we were number 1 and Ron Harper Jr. decides to launch a half-court shot that goes in. And then Wisconsin killed us. And Michigan, it was just like daggers all the time. There were at least 4.
I'll tell you, the last 5 or 6 years, if a Big Ten team has made its way to the number 1 ranked spot anytime throughout the season, Michigan hit it a year or 2 ago. You guys hit it this year. Michigan State is not the Michigan State of the, early 2000s, but even still, they've I think hit a number 1 spot. Anytime a Big Ten team gets there, it is short-lived and proves to be a disaster for the rest of the season, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. We're not living up to our potential. You were asking my thoughts on the tournament. So, listen, Iowa's hot. and I could see Iowa, if they keep playing like they're playing, they could make it to the Final Four. I mean, they are just playing extremely well. But with that in mind, you're not going to win games when you turn the ball over 17 times.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
Iowa did Iowa did what they needed to do to win, and Purdue did exactly what it needed to do to lose.
Sure.
So I don't want to take anything away from Iowa and their Big Ten tournament championship, because, but I mean, we were in there. We made that huge, like 7-point run with like 45. So we made 7 points in 45 seconds to bring that deficit down. And then we just couldn't do anything. And, that's the frustrating thing. And when you turn the ball over, I mean, can Purdue get to the Final Four? Yes. Will they? We're nervous. And then of course, I'm not worried about Yale.
Are you going to cover the 15.5?
Oh no. Take Yale. Take Yale. Take Yale to cover. Take Yale. That's the way we've been playing all season. You're better to take the
Did you fill out your bracket yet, or are you still?
Not yet. I'm kind of waiting. Okay, so one of the questions I have on my bracket, a couple of things I'm watching. Obviously, I don't know. Michigan is such a disappointment. I mean, you got the talent, but I literally do hate your coach, Ann Dickinson.
I mean, Dickinson in my opinion, just like limped around all year. I don't think he showed up. I mean, as a big man in the Big Ten, I think he did just enough. And I mean, to be honest, I don't necessarily blame him. I think early on it was discovered they ain't going anywhere, and he knows he's going to get drafted, and he did just enough to stay healthy, in my opinion, because he did not scrap like he scrapped last year in the paint and doing what he does. In my opinion, it was a ho-hum performance out of Dickinson.
Yeah, and he's not living up to his gesture or his T-shirt. And if anybody doesn't know, he does a gesture after he does a three, which is, come on. Yep. And the other thing is, he's got a shirt that says Big Dickinson Energy.
I did see that. That's yeah. There's no energy. There's no energy.
Him and Brad Davidson are the two most punchable people in the Big Ten. maybe Bohannon.
I love it.
The good news for Big Ten fans is that Bohannon and Davidson of Wisconsin get to retire from Big Ten basketball and spend time with their grandchildren.
Hey, listen, man, I would I'm pulling it up right now as we speak. I would definitely take Colorado State. I don't even think Michigan has really a chance. I'm looking to see what the spread is on this one too, as we're looking at it here. Let's see what it is. Wow, they're actually giving Michigan. So ESPN Predictor has Michigan with a 73% chance of winning.
Yeah, don't look at the predictor. That predictor on ESPN is crap.
Brutal.
Look at the line.
And
look at the line.
It's only 2.5.
Yeah, that's a better. And then is it Cole? I'm going to ask my son here. No, it's not Colgate. Who does Ohio State play? Crichton? Oh, sorry, the Fighting Sister Jeans.
Yes.
I would take Loyola on that one.
Let's see what that one's looking like. What's the?
It was even last time I checked. My son here, who's my analytics guy. Yeah, my son.
It is even. Wow, that's heads up.
I do so speaking of some of the Big Ten games, so the reason I haven't filled out my bracket is I think if Rutgers can win, they can beat Alabama. So, yeah, I think Rutgers can beat Alabama, but if Notre Dame wins that play-in game, then I would take Alabama in that situation. So I think Rutgers is scrappy enough. And believe it or not, so I'm going to shock people. If you have any IU fans who listen, Indiana fans who listen to the podcast, I'm a big Boilermaker. I mean, I trolled them. If you followed my Instagram, I had a special sweatshirt made in the Indiana font that said Indiana to make fun of them misspelling their jersey when they went to Iowa in football. It's too smart for most IU fans because it's in that script and your eyes just look at it and you can't tell that anything's wrong with it. But I think I want to see IU do well. I was nervous for them. I thought they were going to get hosed. I thought they were going to literally get hosed. And I'm going to say from a selection standpoint, I don't like our bracket. I thought after we made that run and made it to the championship game, everybody had pretty much, and after everybody losing, ahead of us in the 2-seed category. I thought that put us as a nice, solid number 2 seed, and we were to play in Indianapolis.
I would have assumed you guys would have been a 2. Yeah. Yep.
And then they put us in with the they totally did this on purpose. They put us in with the potential of meeting Texas, which is anybody who's a Purdue fan. It's got Chris Baird, and he's a Purdue killer. He knocked us out with Arkansas State. He knocked us off with Texas Tech. And he could do it with Texas. But I think we can beat them. And the question is what Purdue team? If we can play and not try so hard and just do simple stuff and not turn the ball over and make our free throws like anything else, we will be fine. But right now, on a lot of milk cartons across Indiana, we're looking for our 3-point shot. So if anybody sees it, please call local authorities and let West Lafayette know if you found it.
So you guys just need to play fundamental basketball with the talent that you have, and you should be all right.
Yeah, we should. We really should. And of course, I know how you feel. It's Michigan State, but you can never sleep on Izzo in March.
No. I mean, they will either get knocked out in the first round or the round of 32, or they'll get to the Final Four. I agree 100%. It is just something that Izzo does. It's just something that the team does. I don't think Izzo still has enough credibility behind him. Nobody wants to play them. I don't care if Michigan State was a 16 seed, the 1 seed would not want to play Tom Izzo at Michigan State just because you just never know what could possibly happen.
And then you've got that possibility of maybe Duke, Michigan State. Yeah,
oh man, you remember those days?
Yeah. Izzo's. You got to think Izzo's not too far behind.
Coach K.
No, Izzo retired. I mean, Izzo's still coaching, but I mean, his time is got to be coming up pretty soon.
Got to be. They hit so many shots at getting the second one, and they never made it happen. It's like, I don't know how many incoming people he's, said I'll be there for if he's, waiting to hold those commitments maybe or something like that. But yeah, you got to think like it's we're going on 20 plus years. Like, I'm surprised he hasn't already, to be honest. So yeah, I think
he's the last of. He's the last of the OG coaches.
100%.
In a lot of ways.
Yep, I'm with you.
Now, one more possible upset if everything plays out. Now, obviously, this is maybe more wishful thinking because not only if we get past Yale and then we get past either Virginia Tech or Texas, we've got Kentucky potentially waiting for us.
Oh,
in the Sweet 16.
Yep.
So here is my second round potential upset. All right?
Yep.
I'm just going to put it out there. I told my son this. We were asking, and there's just something inside of me that says I want to watch this one.
Okay.
In the second round, there's a good possibility you've got Murray State and Kentucky in Indianapolis, both Kentucky schools. Definitely Kentucky's going to travel very well to Indianapolis.
Yep.
But Murray State's hot. And for as many Kentucky fans you're going to have in Indianapolis traveling, you're going to have just as many non-Kentucky fans. It's very possible you have got a lot of IU fans, and IU fans hate Kentucky. They may hate Kentucky maybe more than they hate Purdue.
Sure.
And then you've got Purdue fans who probably are going to go to Indianapolis because they thought Purdue was going to Indianapolis.
Yep.
So, and Murray State's just south of Paducah. It's not very far from Evansville. It's definitely a travel there as well. So they're going to get a fan base there. And, it's that human element. If you get that little dog, goes after the big guy in Kentucky, that's what I'm watching. I think that's a possible second round upset if it comes true, which, like I said, it's very well me not wanting to see Kentucky in the Sweet 16.
Murray State over Kentucky, man. That'd be something.
But Murray State's like a 7 seed.
Yes.
So it's not that. So it's a 7-2 is not. That's not a.
It's not far fetched.
It's not a huge. It's not like it's like 12. It's not like a huge upset. So, that's my one I'm watching.
All right. Last question for you, then we can do some weather. Is there a Is there a Cinderella story in here? Is there a 12, 13 seed that you think might make a little noise?
I think Indiana can make it to the Sweet 16.
Okay.
It's hard to say. It's hard to call Indiana a Cinderella,
right?
Because it's Indiana. And I hate to say it with all my heart, but they got it pretty easy. They're going to play Wyoming.
Yep.
In a play-in game, and they should. And they're going to be in Dayton tonight. This is Tuesday, by the way. They're going to be in Dayton tonight, which is not far, and fans are going to travel.
Yep.
So that one should be like a home game. And then they play. Now, granted, out in Portland, I think granted, St. Mary's could have a good turnout there, but I think they could take, if they play like they did against Iowa and they play like they did in the Big Ten tourney, they could beat St. Mary's. And so they could find their way into the Sweet 16 to play Gonzaga.
Okay.
So, or no, it would be UCLA. It would be UCLA in the Sweet 16, right? In the next. No,
yeah, UCLA.
I'm asking my son.
Yep,
it would be UCLA.
Yep.
It would be UCLA, and then they'd have to play Gonzaga in the Elite. Or no, I don't know.
It would be Gonzaga in the 16. I just pulled up
Gonzaga in the seat. That's right.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting they have to play an extra game, so they could beat St. Mary's. It's kind of a Cinderella, the play-in game, getting to the second whatever, but a 12. I don't know. I don't think there's a lot that stands out here. And then obviously, a lot of people would go against, who does Wisconsin? I'm sorry, my son's over here and he knows all this stuff. Who does Wisconsin play?
Colgate.
Yeah, a lot of people in Illinois. A lot of people just plays Chattanooga, and a lot of people would have taken Chattanooga if it wasn't Illinois. So, they put the Big Ten in some interesting. The selection decided I don't really like the Big Ten.
Right.
So let's see. We're gonna play. We'll give them 9 teams, but we're not gonna like them that much to do anything.
Sure. Yep, I'm with you. All right, Matt. Well, best of luck to you guys, and curious to see what we're talking about here in a couple weeks. All right, we are traveling.
Yes, to all the fans, we are sorry to interrupt your normal NASCAR podcast for
right,
college
basketball.
Hey,
once we get 6 seasons into this thing, they're used to it at this point.
I know. Listen, I do like the fact that we're getting some new stuff, and we talked about this off the air, and I'm noticing some of the penalties and, Larson with the steering wheel issue. And I'm like, we were talking about this and, I think they need to, it's becoming more IROC, and I can understand why fans are frustrated. Long gone are the days of watch it on Sunday, drive it on Monday. And we know that's been gone for a long time, but why have engineers and engine people and stuff like that if, ultimately they're going to get penalized for trying to be innovative?
Yeah. That's long been a criticism. It's how much leeway do you give? Do you give thresholds and things like that? And F1
is F1. I know it's maybe not still as big as it could be in the States, but F1, does what they do, and they're huge across the world. And there's some innovation. They give engineers and their teams, and what they do is important to the success of a team.
Absolutely. You're NASCAR, be NASCAR. Each racing sport, I think, has its own things that, maybe can be borrowed to some degree, but be your own sport and have your own personality and character and, change the game a little bit, we've seen NASCAR over the last couple of years, get a little creative, whether it's from a schedule, whether it's from different horsepower packages and things like that. Be your own and just I think the fans obviously want to see better on track competition, and I think the fact that NASCAR had an incredible turnout at Fontana in California, which is a place they have struggled to draw. One, they hadn't been there in a minute. So fans were excited to get back out, and NASCAR's doing that. They are making some changes. So, continue to embrace the change. And if, you're never going to please all the fans. You're going to have everyone that's going to find something to complain about. But as long as people are tuning in and people are showing up, who cares what, Bob 1234 on Twitter with no profile picture has to say about it,
Exactly.
So, that's where I'm at. So, speaking of which, we are headed to Atlanta, which new configuration, new track. I'm excited to see what we're going to get. How is the weather shaping up this weekend, sir?
Well, yeah, Atlanta, you can always ask Aaron and I. Atlanta is one of these, the story, and I wish I could go into more detail. It's somewhat of a black cloud for Aaron and I, pun intended.
Yes.
Some of the reason why I almost want to give it away. It's been so many years since all this stuff has happened, but essentially Aaron and I are not, NASCAR is not fans of us because heaven forbid we literally got a forecast correct.
Yes, I remember this.
Back
Yes.
back in the day, they, when fans weren't showing, I mean, everybody got it right. It may not have even been us. The forecast called exactly everything was calling for that. Like, was that first time they brought Atlanta back and they did it in March. It was right before the forecast guarantee, whatever. And so you're racing in the Southeast in March. I mean, you're racing in the East in March. You live in Michigan. I live in Southern Indiana, Northern Kentucky. You're going to get volatile weather. It's just the nature of spring.
Sure.
So, but it looks good right now. The couple things that we're looking at, and eventually that will be a story. I'm proud of the fact that Aaron and I we haven't changed ourselves because of what we went through several years ago. But we definitely, NASCAR and the track of Atlanta became not fans of us.
Yeah,
for that reason.
I mean, you guys do what you do, and it's like you guys have always said, you're never going to tell somebody not to go to the track. You're always going to give people the information for them to make the best decision possible for their individual circumstances.
Ultimately, I'm a fan who happens to be a meteorologist. All right. Aaron is the same way. We do this for our fellow fans. We want fans to go and have a good time because if they have a good time, they're likely to go back to the track. All right. If they go and they have a horrible time, they're not going to go back.
Yep.
Period. You have a horrible experience. You ain't going back to a race. And that may be, and I had people, plus it's expensive. It's expensive to go to a track and spend the money and do that and travel. Hotels around tracks. Like Michigan is a great example. I mean, I've literally stayed in Toledo when I would travel and go to the race at Michigan. I drive and stay in Toledo or South Bend and drive to the racetrack so I can find a cheaper hotel.
Sure.
Because the prices are just horrible. And, families want to go and you want to be family friendly. All I want is fans to go back and have a good time because then they'll go back to a racetrack again and not give up on the sport. And, you're right. I've never told anybody not to go. Or, there's only a few times where Aaron and I have literally said, okay, this is a washout.
Yeah.
Be prepared for the next day. And we don't like saying that.
No.
So with that in mind, now that we transition into that, it actually looks fairly good. The only concern is a system Friday into Saturday with a cold front. And this early out, always the big question is timing. So looking at things, the front, possibly latest, will be out of there by, say, noonish on Saturday, maybe sooner. Not going to have a lot of temperature change, but I think if you're looking at wet weather, it's probably Friday. No
issue there. We got doubleheader on Saturday, so we're good.
So yeah, and then Saturday, and then Sunday right now looks good. I think I'd say 80 to 90% odds of racing for Sunday. And just for those people who are asking, if I'm saying Sunday's great, why am I still leaving 20 to 10% for not racing? Because it's Tuesday. That's why.
Yes, fair enough. Yes, CYA.
You will rarely this far out. If you listen to the podcast long enough, I don't know I've ever given 100% odds on the podcast for racing this far out.
True story. Yes. Good stuff, man. Well, listen, man, it was great to catch up with you. Great to talk a little basketball. I know you're driving right now, so safe commute the rest of your way there. I hope you enjoy the kickoff to March Madness here in a couple days, and look forward to catching up with you here soon.
Yeah, I hope so too. I'm happy to be working overnights this week, and so Yeah, having a 2:00 game on Friday. It's like right when I'm going to be waking up. So, but I'll be up, no doubt about it. Even though I'm going to bed at like 8 that morning. No, hey, boiler up. Let's cheer on the Big Ten at least. And I will say for all the Boilermakers who happen to follow, I love this team. It's very talented. It's a once in a generation potentially kind of talent we have on this team. And if we don't make it to the Final Four, I would say it's a disappointing season. I hate to say that, but if we want to be considered a big boy program, eventually you got to start winning stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, that's been the talk Michigan football. Hey, put your big boy pants on and go and do something. So I feel you there. All right, man. Well, we will catch up with you in a couple weeks. We'll have Studwell next week. Everybody make sure you follow Brian on Twitter at NASCAR_WXMAN, along with Aaron Studwell at Race Weather. Sir, we'll catch you, and we'll talk to you soon.
All the best, man.
Thanks, man. We'll see ya. Great to catch up with Brian Neudorff. All right, you guys hear some dogs barking. You know what that means. It is time for this week's Lucky Dog and Lap Down Picks. You guys know the drill. After race weekend, you can tweet your Lucky Dog Lap Down Picks. I'll read them on the show, tag you guys on social media. I am really excited to give a Lucky Dog pick to Stewart Haas Racing. I feel like it's been a minute since I've been able to do that. So that's my lucky dog of the race weekend. My lap down are my lap traffic fantasy picks, because we are off to a horrible start after just barely making the playoffs last year with a first round exit. I really wanted to come out strong this year, and it has been the exact opposite. So lap down to my fantasy picks. All right. Let's get to your pick. Scott at 1985 Wagner. Lucky dog Chase Briscoe. First time winner. Lap down tie for Kyle Larson and Martin Truex Jr. Not names you see at the bottom of the field. 100%. Chad at Chad Ilwrench 3. Lucky dog Harvick, Tyen Sr. and Petty for most consecutive top 10s at a single track with 18. I love it. A lap down for me not being able to attend Phoenix. Man, I feel ya. I can't wait to get back to the racetrack this year. Colin at Colin_with_cars. Lucky dog to the first time winner Chase Briscoe. A lap down to the aluminum wheel. It's going to take more than a few stacked pennies to fix LaJoy's car. I love puns, Colin, and that was beautiful. I love it. Yeah, we definitely have some wheel issues. I mean, damn thing, rotor and all, rolling around on the racetrack. That's crazy. Eric at ECS324, lucky dog to Noah Gragson getting his first Xfinity win of the season. A lap down to HMS, frustrating end after a great start to the race. I feel you there. Jess at Iowa NASCAR fan, lucky dog Briscoe. One of the very few blue-collar racers in the Cup Series right now. Been a long road, but he is a winner. A lap down the 12th pit crew. Blaney has had the best car a lot this year, and consistently loses spots and races on pit road. 100% there. And Scott at WA Big Amma, lucky dog. Ryan Ellis Racing, dude's killing it in the Team Alpha Prime ride. A lap down Toyota in the Cup Series. So bad. I feel you. Well, I'm going to be rolling with a Toyota pick this week for my lap traffic fantasy pick to hopefully rebound on some things, but probably not, knowing my luck. All right. Well, was supposed to have another guest for you guys. Unfortunately, a late-minute cancellation, but Christian will be on next week. That's already been confirmed. So we'll see what he has for us next week. But right now, all right, Lap Traffic Nation, let's close this thing out with a little Lap Traffic Fantasy. Just a reminder, get your picks in by 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. We are 4 race weekends into segment 1. It's not over by a long shot. Things are so close. It's great. I love it. Don't forget to use hashtag LTFantasy when talking about it on Twitter. And joining me on the line, one of the 2 guys that had a week high this past week, it is B. Wayne Brett Morris from Blowing the Doors Off. What's up, brother? How are you?
What's going on, Brandon?
How are you, man?
Not too bad. Just sulking over the IU loss and ready to get some racing going at Atlanta.
Dude, man, it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. Michigan, they're going to get blown out opening weekend here. There is no way they are going to be able to go and beat Colorado State, who's a pretty strong defensive team, man. Like, you and I were talking on Twitter this weekend, like, IU got screwed. Those should have been flipped. Like, I don't understand how Michigan got in there and limped their way in after losing opening round Big Ten tournament. I think the committee put a little extra stock in them beating OSU, I think, but that's about it.
Yeah, and I think, as far as IU being a play-in game against Wyoming, if they win that game, which I think they will, I think IU can be a very dangerous team in the NCAA tournament.
It's Indiana. How are they not? Those are
they just built for it.
Yes. They're one of those teams like, Michigan State can go out and have the worst year possible, but once they get to the tournament, Izzo's going to have them dialed in to being ready to go. And you never know. Izzo he sometimes just backs his way in, no pun intended to Alex Bowman, but he might back his way into, a Final Four appearance. It's been done.
Yeah, and there's not like a clear leading team in college basketball that you think is just going to come out there and kind of just walk their way into a Final Four. These teams in the bracket, the way it's set up, these teams are really going to have to earn their wins. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a good bracket, and it's really hard to bet with. I feel like with the way I looked at it, I was like, yeah, I don't know, man. Those teams, some of those games can be big traps. Absolutely.
Well, you look at Gonzaga, right? I mean, obviously Gonzaga is good, but I think they played one ranked opponent all season. So it's like, once Gonzaga gets to, the Sweet 16, Elite 8, that's always where I think the traps can follow when you have these schools that don't play in as competitive division like Big Ten. I mean, Big Ten's so stacked all around. Who knows? Gonzaga might fall again. They probably won't. They'll probably at least get to the Final Four. But it's like, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't, just because who are they really? It's hard to tell when you're playing some community colleges throughout the season.
And I think that's where Michigan got in over Indiana on a seed, because IU's preseason schedule is just horrific. They need to get in some tourneys or whatever, like the Maui Invitational back in the day used to be a big thing for teams. And I don't know. Michigan's in there. Any Big Ten team, I feel like, can surprise some people. And when we're talking about betting, those 8-9 seed games are really hard to bet on, because it's just a flip. Like, throw a coin up in the air, because sometimes you just don't know who's going to win it.
I'll take the over.
Right?
Just give me the over on those. Oh, man. I love it. All right, man. Well, Lap Traffic Nation, as I mentioned at the start of the show, I didn't do a show last week, but I was on Blowing the Doors Off, hosted by Brett and Sherwin, formerly of the PETM podcast, and had a great time on your guys' show last week. We talked everything from betting to NASCAR to smoking meat and sharing some recipes, and we had an absolute great time. So go check them out, give them a follow, all that good stuff. I'm sure Brett and Sherwin will be on a few times this year and vice versa. I had a blast, man. That was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, man. And anybody that checks us out, we have a little giveaway going on.
Oh, that's right.
Now.
Yes.
Rouse Chastain, 42 hat when he was with Chip Ganassi, but a signed Clover hat, and it's pretty cool little giveaway.
Excellent. Yes, go follow. I love that. All right, man. So here's the deal. You and Scott tied for 102 points this week, which was good for first place with Gregson and Elliott. You picked up 2 bonus points, one for Gregson and then one for Week High. My ass, got a whopping 39 points because Martin Truex Jr. scored me a whopping 2. So there's that. And let's see. Top 10 is Scott in first place with 404 points. Justin Hughes in second with 373. Kevin Hahn and Tony Salt are tied for third with 371. Henry Fletcher in fourth with 369. Don James in fifth with 361. Steven from DFS NASCAR is in sixth with 360. Michael Mason in seventh with 359. Alan Cavana in eighth with 351. Brad Carnes in 9th with 344, and Jason Dickus and Jeremy Waterbury tied for 10th with 343. But all the way through, I mean, I'm in 50th and have 268 points, and I'm not throwing the towel in. So it's still anybody's game. We're only 4 weeks into this bad boy, so keep them coming. Bonus points. Kevin and Scott have 4. Jason's got 3. Benton Wilson, Jumpy Bob, Brett Morris, Don James, Eddie Greer, Henry Fletcher, Josh Rolfe, and Josh Neal all have 2. And a bunch of people have 1 bonus point. So, Brett, where are you at in the standings? I forgot to look.
I last time I looked, I was like 34th. So
Okay.
if I was high this week, I'm probably a little higher than that.
All right. So you're creeping up there. I love it, man. I love it. What do you say? You ready to make some picks?
Hell yeah.
All right, Lap Traffic Fantasy players, we are headed back east with our first trip to the newly repaved and newly reconfigured Atlanta. We used to love this track for the tire wear, the old school track feel. Not sure we can rely on trends. You know, this thing might look like Daytona Talladega. Could we see some old school favorites like Kevin Harvick maybe dominate this thing? We will find out. Brett, what do you think? What are we going to get in Atlanta this weekend?
You know, I'm so ready to check it out. You know, you hear all the testing and everything went like a Talladega, Daytona. You know, like, is super speedway racing going to play into, you know, everything? So, like, when you looking at your picks, you're looking at, you know, who's good at racing at a super speedway. So I'm very excited to get the weekend started. Probably what I'm most excited about is, like you, I like watching some truck racing, man.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
I'm with you. I'm with you. I wish it was a Friday night race. I love the doubleheaders, but man, there's just something about like ending the day with work, couple beverages, and a 9 o'clock Friday night truck race. Like, I just, you know, even 8, whatever. I just love trucks on a Friday night. But the fact that it's a doubleheader on Saturday, you know, it's the thing with that is it's hard to commit to both of those, you know, and it's like, well, trucks
Right.
for me is going to take precedent, you know. So, but yeah, I'm ready.
Absolutely.
I'm ready. All right, man. Who do you got for the truck series?
I'm going to go Chandler Smith.
Chandler Smith. I like that. Scott sent me his pick, so I'm going to read his as well. So Scott's going with John Hunter. And, you know, John Hunter has not done well. I haven't lost a lot of points because a lot of people take John Hunter. But I'm gonna roll with John Hunter till I get a win with John Hunter. So John Hunter for me for the moment, as well as Scott. Over to the Xfinity Series. Who do you got?
I'm going to go Josh Berry.
Man, I so thought about him, and I was going to take him if it wasn't a repave and it wasn't a reconfigure, because, you know, he races those super late models. I'm like, man, old school track, tire wear, like, I think that would play into Josh Berry's game. But I'm actually repeating Scott's pick as well for the Xfinity Series, and we're both going with Daniel Hemrick.
Well, I'm glad that I'm not on the same picks as you guys, because I think last time I did this, we had the same picks, and then we totally bombed
It's turmoil. Yes, I hear you. All right, man. Cup Series. Who do you got?
You know, I'm going to ride a hot hand here. You know, I thought about this pick. You know, you text me and said that I was tied for week high if I wanted to come on, and I thought about it, and I'm going to go Ross Chastain.
Ooh, you know what, man? I like that. That is solid. They are stepping up as a team and as an organization. Again, another Ross. We're 2 restarts away from talking about 2 victories for Ross Chastain, 2 races into this thing. So I absolutely love that pick. A little bit of a gamble early on, man. I think that's a great pick. I love it. Scott is going with Reddick, who, again, he's someone that's just victory lane bound at some point, in my opinion. And I am going with the 18, Kyle Busch, something new, new track. I need to make up some ground, so I'm going to go to the well for an old reliable pick here and hope Kyle Busch can get me some points.
Yeah, I mean, didn't he score the first win for Toyota Atlanta?
I do believe that sounds about right for me. Yes, sir.
It pays off for you.
Yes. All right, man. Where can everybody follow you and check out the show?
Yeah, you can follow me personally on Twitter at bwayne8589. You can check Blowing the Doors Off on Twitter and Instagram. And then off anywhere you can find a podcast, Apple, Google, Spotify, anywhere you can find it. Blowing the Doors Off podcast, weekly show, talking some NASCAR. You get me being the goofy redneck that I am, and then you get Sherwin, the smart, analytic kind of guy. And it's a good combination, so it's a great show to check out.
I love it. All right, man. Hey, thanks so much, and we'll catch you soon, man.
Absolutely, man. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see ya. All right, Lab Traffic Nation. There you have Brett. That is going to do it for episode 272 of the Lab Traffic Podcast. Make sure you check out the website, thelabtrafficpodcast.com, Facebook, The Lab Traffic Podcast, Twitter, @LabTrafficPC. Don't forget about the contest. Less than 200 to go. Huge thanks to Grant Enfinger, Brian Neudorff, Brett Morris for calling into the show tonight. Next week, I got Chad Wood from GMS. We're going back-to-back with GMS drivers. Christian Cole will be on, and we'll have Aaron Studwell. Don't get caught chasing the Lucky Dogs. Make sure you tune in each and every week to the Lab Traffic Podcast. See ya!